Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to round 5 of the ILR3 Season 6 Championship, and I've decided to start the stream a little early. We're waiting on some drivers to join, but in the aftermath of the event that happened yesterday, where the Formula 2 driver from Lyon, Antoine Hubert, had a crash and died at the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, I thought I'd say a few words about that in commemoration of him. And I'm not sure if this will add to what Alex said in ILR3, but hopefully, I just thought I need to say something about this, because it has been quite an impact on the whole racing community, not just in F1. But anyway, let me start. As many of you will know, in the F2 sprint race around the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, there was a collision on lap 2. This resulted in heavy injuries for the 22-year-old French driver Antoine Hubert, which he fortunately succumbed to in the medical centre at the track. Juan Manuel Correa was also involved and sustained 2 broken legs, as well as a minor spinal injury. It has been the first time a driver has died at the circuit of an F1 race weekend since 1994, in which 2 drivers were killed, including Ayrton Senna. Yesterday served as a stark example of the fact that no matter how far safety has come in motor racing, there is always the possibility that such accidents can happen, and that we cannot remain complacent to the fact that drivers put their lives on the line to do what they love, and this unfairly takes its toll on the motor racing community. Antoine Hubert was just 22 years old when he was killed, which is younger than a lot of people involved in motorsports. He was good friends with the drivers Charles Leclerc and Esteban Ocon. It is for this reason that, instead of cancelling races following his death, we must continue to race in his honour, which we are showing by racing it this evening. And as an act of gratitude towards him, many drivers are sporting number 19 as well as pink and white helmets. His death serves the fact that we must continue to strive towards safety in motorsports. It also shows that drivers are risking their death for their dreams, and we must show our appreciation as he makes his way towards heaven to join other motorsport greats. Therefore, tonight we will hold a moment of silence during the formation lap, with the drivers, as I said earlier, sporting number 19 as well as pink and white helmets in commemoration. Thank you. With that said, then, let's get into the race, and I'm not sure what's happening with the sound. Let me sort that out then. But yeah, thank you. I just thought I needed to say that. And I have no idea what's happening with the sound. Oh, this looks like I'm going to have to leave the lobby and rejoin. But, I'm just going to check I've got an invite to rejoin. Yeah, I'm going to have to leave the lobby and rejoin, unfortunately, due to the Wi-Fi not working. But anyway, after that solemn note to start off the evening, let's get into the race then. So we'll start off the qualifying session. Of course, it's not going to work because this is F1 made by the Codemasters, and of course it decides not to work, but at least we got the solemn part of the race meeting underway. We will hold a moment of silence during the formation lap, and yeah, thank you for giving me invites, guys. So we'll get started. This is round 5 then of the ILR3 Season 6 Championship, and Verstappen, RB33, is leading the championship, followed by Paga and Tomo. Dougie Falcons is in 4th, followed by L.R. Lawmans and Owen Wyatt. Oh my goodness, it's a bit loud. Let me just sort out the audio mix then. At least it's actually working now. That should be fine. Alright then, let's get to it. So CJ is leading out in Sector 3. And let me just get the track map up here. The first Grand Prix was held in 1991 at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia. There will be 33 laps this evening, with the circuit length being 4.655 kilometres. The race distance 307.1 kilometers. That's the full race. Our race will be roughly half of that, so that'll be about 153 kilometers. Let's get all of our telemetry ready. The lap record here is a 1 minute 18.4. That was made by Daniel Ricciardo in 2018. There's quite a lot of elevation change here, the highest point being just after turn 12, which we've just gone through there, and the lowest point being just after the apex of turn 1. Kvyat Kern-Blige is going to set the fastest lap so far of the session, and CJ is only going to be behind him by half a tenth. But Verstappen RB33 is on provisional pole, just ahead of his teammate Kvyat Campbell. Let's have a look now, because Paga is on a hot lap and he's just coming through the final few turns now, out of turns 14, 15 and 16. What kind of lap time can he set as he rockets towards the checkered line? Deneen takes a pole position. No, he doesn't. Paga does, as it's a 1 minute 18.8 there from Paga. All of the drivers who've set lap times are on the hards, apart from Dougie Falcon. And that looks like Droppier has taken a bit of an extended line there. Lawmans has a qualifying ban, it's due to mention. Here comes the Ginger in. His Haas is just warming up his tyres on his out lap. This is that laggy person there. We'll ride on board with him as we go heavy braking into turn 1 at about 75 metres. Then a half throttle before opening up the full throttle through turn 2. Then it's not quite full throttle through turn 3. Depending on your line actually, and depending on the downforce you are running. Then heavy braking into turn 4, which widens rather unexpectedly. Then flat out towards turn 5 on the curb, nearly dropping it, but not quite there. Not quite there from that laggy person. Then opening the throttle up again towards, through turn 6 towards turn 7. Being careful on turn 8, because this can really upset, the curves can really upset the car and send it around. Now flat out, a bit of braking there actually, through turn 9. You've got to be careful there. Don't want to run wide, because if you run wide there, you're going to stay wide. And then into the hairpin of turn 10 before opening up towards 11, which is flat out, just careful with the curves. Then trail braking through turn 12 before opening up again towards turn 13. And I'm just making sure we share our tweet. Now then, flat out of turn 16, all the way towards the line. There's big oversteer, and that laggy person has binned it on the final corner of his lap, as in synchronization does, I think that's either Droppier, yeah, that was Droppier binning it at the exact same moment as the Ginger. So that's not gone too well for either of those two drivers, I'm going to be honest. Now then, I think everyone's having, I don't know, hopefully we fixed it, but let's get ready to rumble. Yellow flags in sector 1. I'm just trying to sort out everything. It's quite hard to hold a phone in one hand, an iPad in the other, and try and commentate what's on screen. So I've got a triple screen setup going on here, I suppose you could call it. Yellow flags in sector 2, not quite sure, but I'm already getting a bit thirsty up in there. Fortunately, it's not as blisteringly hot as it has been in the past few weeks here in the United Kingdom. And I'm not going to absolutely swelter in my room right now, which I suppose is probably a good thing. Oh no, my mic stand doesn't seem to want to cooperate. But let's get back to it then. Try and balance all of my stuff on my legs. This is quite the art actually. So everyone who has set only three drivers have set lap times, have not set them on hards, and they've all been on mediums. So it looks like the strategy is going to be hard to medium, or mediums are hard. No softs seem to be out on play tonight, which is rather interesting. This is Alice Killer then. There's the yellow flags in sector 2 as well. I'm just going to turn up the mix a bit so you can hear the cars a bit better, because I think they're a bit quiet. Oh, I don't know. There we go. Right then. Just need to get back into the groove, you know. But only two drivers to have broken through the 1 minute 19 barrier, and that's LR Deneen and Paga. FTRL's on there in support of Tomo, who is currently in 11th in the Mercedes, slightly behind his teammate. But look at this. CJ Slicks is exactly 1,000th of a second behind Josh Mayer. And that is as close as you can get when it comes to qualifying. And to be honest, everyone else is rather close to each other as well. The top 12 or the top 11 are separated by under a second, and quite a bit under a second at that. There's 0.004 of a second between Alice Killer and Spaghetti Chips now, and it is all very tight at the top. It's anyone's race tonight. All they have to do is keep it clean like always and keep it out of the barriers. That's usually the hardest part when it comes to racing though. It's all about consistency, but in qualifying it's all about the time. And this is Spaghetti Chips trying to achieve the highest time he can get as that laggy person squeezes into second place. That's a Red Bull front row lockout provisionally. So, of course, that's all subject to change. We've still got half of the qualifying session left. I must say, though, having come down from the excitement of the race earlier, I mean, excitement might be a bit of an exaggeration. I, for one, didn't really enjoy it after Max was taken out on the first lap. So that added a slight bitterness to the race for me. But it was a somewhat entertaining race, if only the battle between the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc and the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton had actually emerged. But the midfield battle was actually excellent. Oh yeah. Oh, there's a bit of movement down the order, and I think that's CJ just getting ahead of Campbell there. And now the top 12 are separated by under a second as QVR FC Game Boys sets the fastest lap there, taking provisional pole on the mediums as there's yellow flags. That's a 118.5. Spaghetti Chips just missing out on the 118s actually there. So is Dougie Falcons though, as is Josh Mayer. Team Mercedes in ILR3 maybe, but not for me when it comes to real F1. And my mic stand is just being annoying. What? Please just work with me for once. Use this piece of rubbish I bought off Amazon for like a tenner. That's why you should invest good money in your equipment. That is an annoying horn there in the pit lane. Yeah. It is all very close though. Having the real F1 summer break ended, we're about to be hit with some very good on-track action as well. I can feel that anyway. Dropier, they're not having had a bit of an issue there on his first lap. He's run a bit narrow there on the exit of turn 8, I want to say. Maybe just cutting it a bit, and that might be a lap invalidation. It looks like it's going to continue. But he's the only driver on the soft tyres. And only one driver hasn't used the hards to set a lap time. That's Game Boys, FC Game Boys. And he's set the fastest lap because he was on a set softer. So it's all down to Dropier now to set the fastest lap. He's on the softs, and that was invalidated. So qualifying position, he might be sacrificing for outright race strategy here. Although it looks like some drivers are switching to the medium tyres. I don't quite know. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out. But Dropier is going to go for a second lap on these soft tyres. It's interesting, that might mean he has to go for a two-stop, maybe soft, medium, medium. Especially if he's having to set a second lap on these softs after invalidating. Oh, he's run a bit wide there. He'll be praying that's not an invalidation there. But that is interesting strategy. He might be the only driver here going for a two-stop. And it looks like he's done the same as last time. Skyzy there in support of QVR. Unsurprisingly. Or the, as someone pointed out to me last week, the Quaver clan. So yeah, that is Quaver FC Game Boys, currently on provisional pole position. Now, with 5.5 minutes left then, every single driver who set a lap time is within the top, is within 1 minute 20 seconds. Dropier going back into the pits then. Maybe the softs aren't for him. Maybe he's having a change of heart, or maybe he's having a change of tyre. Maybe just putting on some newer softs. But he is running out of time though. There is not too much time left of the session. 5 minutes is enough to go out for another 1 or 2 laps though. So not all is lost there for the Renault driver. But yes, oh, and that's a bit of an issue, and Verstappen is out of the qualifying session on the exit of turn 9. Got the oversteer. That's always an issue, especially with those curbs, and I wonder if we'll be seeing much of that in the race later this evening. But his car is slowly backing up. Yeah, the exit of turn 9, that 90-degree right-hander, almost flat out. If you get a bit too greedy and you run wide, then you're going out. And yeah, that has not gone well, and he's nearly hit his teammate there. That was Campbell, I think. Yeah, Campbell just going along the straight there, seeing the shell of his teammate's Ferrari, which is going to be a bit off-putting if you're in his shoes. All of the hard runners, though, are about... There's only just over a second separating them, and there's 14 of them. That's rather interesting. But QVR Campbell now, he's on the soft, the medium tyres even. Still got to get used to it, and he's going to take provisional pole with a 1:18.1. Absolutely blistering lap time there from the Ferrari. Now, let's have a look then, because the second salvo of lap times is beginning, and Cohen is about to start. In the Rocket Williams Racing. Lots of R's, so luckily I don't have the speech impediment that prevents me from pronouncing R's correctly. If you've ever seen The Life of Brian from Monty Python, you know that can be quite the problem. But here we go then. Cohen in the Quaver Clan. It's a front row grid lockout for QVR, but of course the drivers aren't racing for their esports team tonight. They're racing for their proper teams and for themselves. And Campbell is ahead by nearly half a second over SC Game Boys. Now the Red Bulls of Paga. Oh, that lucky person. Oh, sorry for the yawns. Been a long day. Yeah, but they are third and fourth. Paga's looking to go for another lap. I'm not sure if that laggy person's got enough time to go out for another lap, or if they do, they're going to be cutting it very late. So that's going to be rather interesting, as Cohen's going to pull into the pits. Yeah, there's a few more people leaving the pits. That's QVR Campbell. He went for another lap, but that's just going to add some wear to his tyres now. Paga's on that lap. Deneen isn't. Who else isn't? The Ginger isn't either. And he's coming through turn 9 now, which we just saw took out the Ferrari of Verstappen, but it's not going to be the same for the Haas. Sorry, Zom. Didn't mean to make you yawn, but I don't know if you knew, but when other humans yawn, it is literally an impulse for people to yawn. It's actually from when we were cavemen, which is pretty interesting, you know? So it is a natural instinct to yawn when other people yawn. Interestingly enough. And that's the Ginger taking provisional pole though, off on that tangent. With a 1:17.8, that's an absolutely blistering lap time. Sorry, Billy, I'm trying to not make everyone tired. We want you to stick around for the rest of the race. That's CJ6 now up into third, just squeezing ahead of QVR FC Game Boys. Paga is out on a hot lap as well, as is that laggy person. Everyone's going on to the medium tyres now. They look to be like the correct compound. As across the line goes ILR Deneen. It's going to be a 1:24.6. I think that was an outlap. That's Dougie Falcons though with a 1:19.0. Not sure if that was an outlap. It doesn't look like it because yeah, he has improved. QVR Campbell then. No, I think that's Kryptonite. Yeah, squeezing into third position in the other Alfa Romeo, the teammate of Dougie Falcons, whom we're riding on board with at this point in time, but we won't be for much longer. That laggy person then just starting his hot lap, as here comes Paga Anus through the last couple of turns, through turns 13, 14, 15 and 16. This last is turn 16. Out there then, across the line, it's going to only be second with a 1:17.8. Now then, who will be next? Kryptonite's just going through Sector 2 now. There's the yellow flags in Sector 1. CJ6 then, here comes through turn 13. out of 14 and 15 towards turn 16. There's a full course yellow, it looks like. But he's going to go into the pits then. Here comes that laggy person just going through sector 2 now. This is LR Deneen though. LR Deneen used to use third person as the checkered flag is being waved. He used to use third person, but he's back to T-Cam now. Coming across the line, it's going to be 5th position for the Toro Rosso car. Kryptonite there, out of fuel it looks like. That laggy person then in the sister Red Bull. Coming through. Paga, you know what I said. Here comes that laggy person through turn 16 then. Towards the line. And it's going to be 6th place there with a 118. Not quite able to get into the 117s then. Yeah, spaghetti chips across the line. It's going to be 9th for the Renault. Here comes Josh then. And then the final driver to cross the line will be Paga. So yeah, it's just Josh coming through the final couple of turns now. I think, yeah, he's going to stay on his hot lap then. Towards the line, all eyes on this racing point. And across it, he's going to take 8th position there. And quite an intense qualifying session that was. And we can get ready for the race. So the qualifying order is going to be the Ginger on pole position, followed by Paganeas, then Drop Yay 518, then Dougie Falcons 97, Alice Killer 150, that laggy person, QVR Campbell, Josh Mayer, LR Deneen 69, Spaghetti Chips, Kryptonite, CJ6, QVR FC Game Boys, D43, Tomo, the Stappen RB33, QVR Kern Bludge, Lawmans and VRT Chapalele, whatever. Those two not setting times, of course, due to qualifying bans. No, but to be fair, that laggy person, he did have the alien indicator in the lobby, but yeah, that is his name. Incidentally enough, let's hope we don't have any lag-related issues for him though. But back to the earlier point, it looks like it's a bit overcast, maybe some rain. Not quite sure. Spain can always be plagued by the rain. Try to make the run work there, but not quite. Just a reminder though that we will be observing a moment of silence during the formation lap. So once that starts, do bear with me, please. I'm not sure why my dog's whining, but that's my siblings to sort out. Also, flights have been cancelled. 180 flights have been cancelled due to air traffic control, if any of you were wondering. So, you never know, but the session's going to start in just a moment. And let's have a moment of silence. Thank you very much for observing that with me and keeping the chat clear. We can now get back to the commentary. But yeah, I haven't noticed. Work, you useless microphone. Thank you. Sorry. But thank you for observing that moment of silence. Remember, the drivers will be sporting number 19, or most of them anyway. CJ6 clearly didn't get the memo. Oh my goodness, that was D43, Tomo, and I don't think that's allowed on YouTube somehow. I think we'd have to look away from that. Let's leave them to their own devices. Yeah, I think hopefully the stream doesn't get taken down. But yeah, the threat of rain does seem to be hanging about in the air. There's number 19 for the Haas of the Ginger. Anyway then, let's get ready as the drivers line up on the grid for 33 laps here around the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. Out and away we go. Here we are racing around Spain. Look who's getting a good start. There's a lot of action going on down the order. It's going to be side by side between Dougie and Dropier. No, Paga and Dropier even. Paga going down the inside of Dropier. Dropier will have the inside line for the exit, but then Paga will have the third inside line. And it looks like Dougie might be able to capitalise on that. Not quite. There's a lot of scuffling going on down the order. Lawmans and Westy having quite the kerfuffle as down here, though, it's going to be side by side between QBR Campbell and Spaghetti Chips. As we head towards the next turn, down the inside goes QBR Campbell. It looks like he's touched the racing point of Josh Mayer, and I don't think he's going to be able to get any positions here. But lots of side-by-side action. Is he going to dive bomb Spaghetti Chips? Not quite. There, CJ6 just about squeezing VRT Shabalili. Oh my goodness, look at this between Tomo and Verstappen. They can't get enough of each other. And that was some POV action for you there, as round the outside goes Verstappen. First on Tomo, then on Kryptonite. Can he get Kryptonite? Not quite. Kryptonite is going to stay ahead as Tomo. Come on, man. This is getting a bit outrageous. I think this must be some kind of glitch. Oh my goodness. Oh, hopefully that doesn't result in a DNF for either of them. And yeah, I think that's a noble decision there for Tomo to ghost and just try and get that gap in between them. Here we go then, Deneen with the slipstream as well as the ERS. No DRS at this point in the race. Into turn 1, he's not quite close enough to make a move. But I'll tell you who is close enough to make a move at some point soon. It's Dropier on Paga, although the dirty air really does not help through the first couple of turns. In towards turn 4, it doesn't look like we're going to be able to see a move get made. Spaghetti Chips, on the other hand, though, just about overtaking Josh Mayer, and it looks like Campbell's going to be trying to get a piece of the action as well. Josh Mayer's going to switch to the inside of Spaghetti Chips, but he's not going to be able to make a move. He hasn't got his nose in far enough as Tomo and Verstappen stuck to each other like magnets around Spain. As down the inside goes Verstappen on Kryptonite, getting a bit of room between himself and Tomo. Unfortunately, the two drivers are very evenly matched, and that's really not helping their situation. That's the most action Tom has had in years. You heard it here first. That is the burn of the street. That is the burn of the summer. I mean, even if you went to Ibiza, I doubt you got burned as hard as that. Zomit there with no restraints. Paga taking over. Taking the fastest lap with the 1:21.0. Now let's hop back to the action. Sorry, I was a bit distracted by all the comments falling through here. It's quite hard to keep on top of. Yeah, Zom, jeez man, cool it. That laggy person just lifting off slightly, trying to keep it on the track. Of course, you don't want to be getting any time penalties around this track, as the drivers that we've seen in qualifying are very closely matched. And any time penalty will have a severe impact on the outcome of the race, as if they remain as closely bunched. But I do think everyone went to the mediums. There's a bit of a lag there for Deneen. But yeah, if the rain comes down, I think that's what might have been why loads of the drivers went to mediums, because they saw that maybe it was just because their bankers are on hards, or that they saw that there might be rain and the mediums could cover that distance for the rain, but the softs couldn't quite. And the hards were able to. Yeah, so everyone above 11 on the mediums, everyone below 11 on the hards, apart from Tomo and Lawmans. Having a look around then, Verstappen is in 11th. He's got Kryptonite between himself and Tomo. I think he might be firing a restraining order on Tomo after what we've seen so far this race. I mean, honestly. But anyway, Dropier trying to send it around the outside of Paga. That's not going to work. Let's hop back down here then. I don't think that laggy person is going to be able to make a move either. We get a nice little bit of lens flare up the hill as Westy is out of the session in Sector 3. I'm not quite sure what's happened there. He might have lost it on the exit of turn 16. We saw that happen in qualifying, so it is a valid reason for him to go out there. Don't worry. I'm not worrying. I'm not worrying. It's quite entertaining, to be honest. He'll have fun watching back this stream, I can assure you that. Already on lap 4 here then. And we have had a lot of action. Some more than others, if you know what I'm saying. No safety car out, but I do think there is a serious threat of rain in the air tonight. I can feel it come in the air tonight. I'm just checking. Sorry about that. I'm sorry you had to hear my awful rendition of an amazing song. And I promise to never do that again. Because I know that must have been painful for some of you. That laggy person, though, is very close to Alice Skillet. Deneen with the boss lap, 121.8. Is he close enough? Drop is actually overtaken Paga. Paga went off the track for a second. This battle for second, raging. Tomo is just overtaking Kryptonite, and he's closing that gap down to Verstappen. Paga's run a bit wide, though, and this could give Dougie the run he needs, but Dougie is just a bit too far back to really capitalise on that error, although Deneen is close behind that laggy person. Hopefully that laggy person's lag won't interfere with the race, and I think Spag may have run a bit wide there. Someone's just kept the grass, but nothing extreme or really noteworthy. Just keeping an eye on the timings because there's a lot of very close gaps and you never know when we're going to see a move. The DRS train really is forming here around Spa. Let's have a look to the about the gap to the leader. It's just 14 seconds, and in fact the top 10 are separated. The top 15, in fact, are separated by 10 seconds. That is something you don't see every day, and something we certainly didn't see around Spa earlier today, as VRT Shapalili is overtaking CJ6, and CJ really dropped back there, as down the inside goes QVRFC Game Boys, and he's nearly swiped out there by CJ. He might go for the switchback here. Can he get the traction on the exit of turn 16? He needs to run. He'll have the DRS, ERS, and slipstream. As we go along the pit straights, he's going to move to the outside. It's going to be side by side. In fact, no, the Toro Rosso there of Lawman's just backing off as around the outside he goes. Now then, Lawman's might be in fresh chance of getting 16th off CJ, but I don't think he's going to be too interested in making that move as he has run wide. So let's hop up to here because Josh Mayer has some severe pressure from behind him by the two Ferraris. They're closing up relatively quickly. Speaking of which, Verstappen is catching up on his teammates, but the last thing they want is for those two teammates to collide. And on the exit of turn 9, Verstappen is close, but he's not quite close enough to make a move into turn 10 at the hairpin. That DRS straight is just never quite long enough to make a move, unfortunately. That's what I've experienced through the years of commentating. In fact, my first ever commentary was around this particular track, so it holds some place dear in my heart. But Spaghetti Chips here, Paga setting another fast lap with the 121.5. They just keep increasing. Spaghetti Chips though is encroaching upon the Toro Rosso of Deneen. He's not quite close enough to make a move though into turn 1. Heading across then, he's touched the curves there. He's managed to keep it nice and steady as we go forwards. Campbell's close to Josh May. He's going to take a sniff of the inside line, but he's not going to bite it. And he's going to stay behind the racing point for now. He's just about inside the points, and it's better there than outside of the points, I suppose. So it's out of the race altogether. He's in a decent place. And Tomo then, he's currently in 12th. We have had a prediction for him to get a podium. I don't know. It's looking unlikely, but you never know what can happen as Verstappen overtakes QVR. Campbell there into turn 10. I said that DRS straight wasn't long enough last lap. It was clearly long enough for this Ferrari driver tonight. But as you can see, the drivers are wearing some pink and white helmets in true commemorative fashion for Antoine Hubert, which is, it's lovely to see how much the community respects the deaths of motor racing drivers. But anyway, here comes VRT Shapalili. He's going to go to the inside of Kryptonite. Has he got that position? He's got it before the braking zone's even begun. And down the inside he goes with the DRS to help him. We're going to hop up to that laggy person because it looks like he's closing. Although who is closing is actually Dropier on the lead. So there we go. Carriage, big support of Shapalili, or however you pronounce it, as we've been joined in the commentary box by my dog. I'm not sure how much he wants to be in here because he's right by the door. Yellow flags in Sector 2. I don't know why that is. We'll have a look. Is there any damage? I don't know. It's been a relatively damage-free race so far, I've got to say. Oh, bit of oversteer there for Campbell, but nothing too serious. He's managed to keep it pointing in the right direction, which is always ideal. But yeah, we haven't really experienced any major crashes this evening, which I suppose is probably quite good. And we're about halfway to the pit stop phase. The sky is still overcast. That chance of rain is still there. That laggy person, though, he's going to move to the outside of Alice Killer as they go side by side into turn 1. He's got the outside line, which will become the inside line. In fact, Alice Killer spun out, and that's Alain Denis overtaking him. And there's yellow flags in Sector 1 because Alice Killer has got off track, and that's cost him about 5 or 6 positions. That has been really unfortunate for him, as Tomo has closed up, as VRT Shapalili. We could see 3 wide as we go into turn 4, and that's Chappelle being spun out for the second time in this lap. That is really unfortunate there for the Racing Point, and we could see a safety car. There's just yellow flags. Yeah, Alice Killer has gone up from about 4th all the way down to last, and that is really unfortunate for the teammate of Josh here, as Kryptonite is still close behind Tomo. Tomo is not hearing it, the end of it here from Zom. I mean, mate, he's not even there to defend himself. You gotta calm down, Zom. I know he's your friend and all, but seriously, mate. Yeah, but Verstappen, he's closing up on this top group. He's closing up on Josh, and got a bit of a train forming, and my dog has decided to join me on the sofa. Here we go then. And the Ginger and Dropier goes side by side into turn 1. Dropier could be in for the lead here as he goes through the next part of the turn. The Ginger will have the inside line as they go side by side. Dropier backing off a bit as they go. He goes down the inside into turn 4. Can he take the lead here? No, he can't. Still side by side action between the top 2. This is absolutely fantastic. Into turn 5 then. He's going to have to back off slightly. A bit of contact. But this is giving Paga the perfect opportunity. He needs to catch up. These 2 drivers battling, slowing each other down. Drop the 8 still very close behind, but Paga has really closed up. As we head towards turn 10, the DRS will really help the Renault here. He's going to move to the outside as the Ginger goes very defensively towards the inside. Into turn 10, we could see a switch back here from the Renault. Not quite close enough to make a move. Still, the Ginger remains in front. Spain, quite a difficult track to overtake around, and this is being portrayed quite well by this battle at the front. And I think with the DRS we could see Dropier close up into turn 1. He's going to send it back down the outside. The Ginger taking another defensive move to the inside as we go side by side. It'll be the inside line for turn 2 for Dropier, and there's been contact between them, and Dropier managed to take the lead there, although Ginger might be closing up again. A bit of argy-bargy, but nothing too serious. Into turn 4. Now Paga, the Predator, is closing up. It's like a vulture. He's sweeping in on the prey left by Dropier. and this might not be an excellent lap for the Ginger. This Red Bull are really dangerous for him, and I think he's going to be a bit concerned about all that blue in his wing mirrors. But seriously, this has been fantastic so far as we've approached a third of the way, as we hit a third of the way through the race into turn 10, the top 3. That battle doesn't seem to be looking to finish any moment soon, and I'll have a look. But saying that the Ginger has run off the track, and he's lost many positions, and he's out of the points nearly. He's all the way down to P10. That is absolutely shocking for him. He will be very disappointed running wide there as Dougie Falcons and Paga battle. In fact, no, Paga's Paga has gone into the pits, as has Verstappen. And I think that's going to be the first pit stop of the race. Wesley, the only DNF so far, and I think it might look to stay that way. But yeah, the pit stop phase has been triggered. The sun is beginning to shine through the clouds though, so I think that risk of rain is beginning to dissipate, but I don't think it's gone quite yet, so we'll have to keep an eye out for that. But it is looking to brighten up a bit here, brighten up a bit more here, just outside Barcelona. It'll be interesting to see what tyres these drivers go into. It looks like the hards, so they're going to be running towards the end of the race. There clearly isn't a prediction for rain then. Otherwise, I think we would have seen more drivers pitting. Otherwise, they wouldn't have pitted onto the hards, in fact. CJ then getting a 3-second time penalty for multiple time warnings. That's rather interesting. And those time penalties will have a bit of an effect at the end of the race, I'm sure, especially as we've seen just how close all of these drivers have been throughout the course of the race. The top 10 separated by just over 8 seconds. Droppier pulling into the pits, as is Deneen, Campbell and the Ginger. So let's get our little gaps back on. So we'll get these stops up on the left. Because the pit stops are going to have quite an effect on the outcome of the race, where everyone comes out. But CJ Slicks is closing up on QVR FC Game Boys. The man who I believe started... No, he didn't, don't worry. It's been a bad race. No, it's been a good race for VRT Shipalili. He's gained 13 places. But CJ is very close to that Williams of QVR FC Game Boys. We could see a move soon. We'll have to keep an eye out, because the other drivers, as the pit stop phase begins to is in the process of happening. Oh, I'm just having a bit of a mind blank here. Those drivers have pit stop doing the undercut. That could have an effect. We'll have to see where these top guys come out then. Droppier is still in the net lead after his pit stop. Yeah, Shipalili, the big bald German bastard, as you called him, Carriage, is in the lead, actually. But yeah, we'll have a look at Paga, because Paga is in a net second. In fact, no, we'll stay with CJ because he's in fourth, and he's very close behind QVR FC Game Boys, as there's major shuffling around of the order from all the pit stops, and the F18 has been activated. Paga on Dougie Falcons then, he's side by side. Could he make the move here? He's backed off a bit on the exit of turn 3 towards turn 4. Can he make a move? He's going to take a sniff down the inside. Not quite. He's going to have to back off for now, and that's one more person in between them. In fact, Dougie Falcons has actually come out quite well after the pit stop phase. He's jumped Paga, and that means he's in a net second position, which is excellent news for the Alfa Romeo, although I don't think Paga is too happy with that, as you can see by his proximity to the rear of the ex-Sauber team car. And I'm just going to quickly, sorry about this, I'm just going to check the oh dear. Sorry about this. I'm just gonna sort out the mic. I'm just gonna try and reduce the noise coming from my bloody whatchamacallit, my tumble dryer, as the QBR FC Game Boys does manage to overtake Kryptonite. Sorry about this. There we go, that should be fine as that laggy person sends it round the outside of Paga. Paga is having a shocker right now at the halfway point of the race. He's all the way down to 7th, although he has forced it back from his teammate. They're going side by side as they go into turn 4. Down the inside goes that laggy person. Can he take 7th position? It looks like he can, although the switchback might be here for Paga. Still side by side into turn 5. Through towards turn 6, the left-hand king into the next braking zone of turn 7. Down the inside, could Paga go? No, he's going to back off for now, and he might try and take it into turn 10. That would be a wise move, actually, seeing as turn 10 is a heavy braking zone following a DRS straight. But it looks like he's lost a bit of time. Tell you what, though, Dougie Falcons and Dropye, that gap is very low as well. Although I think we're going to have a quick peek at this, because Josh Mayer and Verstappen RB33 are very close behind the back of Spaghetti Chips. So QVR FC Gamers, actually, who has yet to pit, sets the fastest lap, which is rather interesting. But yeah, look at this gap then. Josh Mayer is very close behind Verstappen RB33. He has the DRS, ERS and slipstream as we run towards turn 1. Can he take the position? There's just 2 tenths separating them. Verstappen had the DRS to defend though, and it looks like the Racing Point is not going to be able to make a move though. Spaghetti Chips, on the other hand, he's going to be very nervous in his little cockpit, because he's 2 seconds off Deneen, and he's got a bit of a train beginning to form up behind him. So he's going to have to do well to defend from these drivers. But yeah, sorry about the engine noise in the background, or the tumble dryer. There's nothing I can do about that, but we have hit halfway here as down the inside goes CJ6 on Kryptonite. Is there going to be contact? There's a bit of argy-bargy, and Kryptonite just about manages to defend, nearly swiping off the front wing of that Alfa Romeo. So a bit risky, or even of that Mercedes actually. Kryptonite a bit aggressive, I think, just swinging back onto the racing line like that. Oh, but Verstappen's run wide. Josh Mayer not quite able to send it there, though. Close, but not quite close enough. They both have fair amounts of ERS. That's going to help them on the straight. Spaghetti Chips, though, he's got the least amount of ERS of all of them, and he won't have DRS either. Deneen's setting the fast lap with the 121.1 as they head along the straight, though. It's 5 cars in quick succession as Verstappen will go to the inside of Spaghetti Chips to take 10th here this evening. Down the inside he goes, and he's got the position. Oh, and there's a bit of contact there. Is that front wing down to the racing point? I'm not quite sure, but there goes QPR Campbell round the outside. He's not quite able to make a move, though. Spaghetti Chips keeping it close behind Verstappen is up ahead, and that's that laggy person. He's the wrong way round after contact from Deneen and Paga. He's been tapped in the rear, and he's taken out. He hasn't been taken out fully out of the race. That's QVR Campbell, and Josh Mayer have a bit of contact as well in turn 5. He's trying to send it down the inside. That laggy person will be fuming though. Those drivers just getting a little too close for comfort, and unfortunately for them, it's not ended too well. And yeah, he's retired from the session. That's the Elephant in Sector 2. The Ginger will now be looking to make a recovery drive though, because he's currently in P13, and he'll be looking to improve, having had a bit of an accident earlier on in the race. CJ then currently in 3rd, although he of course has yet to make a pit stop. We'll just keep an eye on these timings, because they are very close, and there's just a train here. A DRS train. CJ6 and Kryptonite, though, still having their ding-dong battle. As we go through turn 1, it looks like Kryptonite's going to come out on top. Not quite sure, though. Dougie Falcon's overtaking Dropye. In fact, Dropye side by side for the lead, the net lead of the race. And Dougie Falcons has taken it off of him. Paga now on Deneen. Dropier into turn 4 there. He's going to move to the outside. Can he take that position back off? No, he can't. He's been on the grass, and that's going to offset his car. And now Deneen is going to take that position off him as well. Not quite as we go to turn 5. Big lock up there for the Renault though. And the Toro Rosso could get the run on him on the exit. And looks like he does. Let's watch this unfold from Paga's perspective as down the inside goes Deneen. No, he's going to back off as we go towards turn 9. This is where we might see a big move here from the Toro Rosso. It is really unfolding on lap 18 here in Barcelona for what has been so far a fantastic race. As this is Paga. He's not quite close enough to make an excellent move. On the straight though, he's got low ERS. In fact, they all do, apart from Dropier. Dropier's got lots of ERS, which will help him defend. The one thing he doesn't have is DRS. So we'll keep an eye on this camera angle of Deneen, which is rather tasty. Never mind. The game has decided that we're not going to see that camera angle. My water supplies are running low, and my throat is getting dry. But unfortunately, I'll have to stick with the action because the Ginger and QVR Campbell getting overtaken. VRT trying to send it around the outside. They're going to be side by side as we head towards turn 4 on lap 19. Here we go, round the outside goes the McLaren. He's on the softer compound tyres. It's not going to be enough though. And Campbell is going to stay ahead, but only just. In through turn 5 then, towards turn 6, VRT Chappelle is going to get the traction down. No, he's not. He's had a bit of oversteer on the exit there. In towards braking, it's not going to be enough. And he's going to have to back off for now. But this McLaren versus Ferrari battle is going to be excellent as we go on the straight here, the back straight, the second DRS straight, whatever you want to call it. It is very close here in Barcelona, which we are very lucky for in ILR3, and I think that threat of rain has all but gone, to be honest. It is definitely brightening up. Just trying to adjust the mic and reduce the sound. Kryptonite, who's that pitting? CJ6 and Kryptonite pitting, and I think that is all of our pit stops done. So after the pit stop phase, let's have a look because Dougie Falcon and Dropier are close, but Dropier is back in the lead. I think I must have missed that, but it's been a good race so far for Verstappen. He's made up 10 positions. Tomo, on the other hand, only making up 3 after their earlier intimacy, let's just call it. But look at this, Verstappen is close behind. He's in P5. Paga is in P4. Obviously, due to the fact that he's in front of him. But actually at the bottom, CJ Slicks is rather close to his teammate. VRT Chappelle on QVR Campbell though is also very close. What really needs to get a tap in here just to refill. Oh, Lewis. Oh, how unfortunate. Down the inside goes VRT Chappelle. That sounded super sarcastic. I'm really sorry about that, Liz. I do feel bad for you, man. That's going to be annoying trying to replace that wheel. Unlucky, mate. But oh, VRT Chappelle, what a fat drift. Fortunately, this is not Tokyo, but he has managed to keep it on the track, and after that, a bit of a drift. He's lost a second to Campbell, but he hasn't actually spun around. That was a mega drift there from the ground, though. Props to him for managing to hold on to that and make sure he didn't crash, because I know if that was me, I would have definitely crashed. As the Lawmans and Alice Killer. Kryptonite retiring from the session. Where has he crashed then? He's crashed on the pit lane entrance. He's hit the barrier dividing the track from the pit lane. How unfortunate for Kryptonite. That is a real shame. He's just maybe got a bit too hot on the pit entry road. And he will be fuming as CJ6 is also out of the race in sectors 1 and 2. What's happened here then? Keep an eye out for his car. I think it must have been around turn 4. I can't see it. There's yellow flags in sectors 1, 2, 3 and 4. I don't know where his car crashed, but there's yellow flags all over the place. And it is beginning to turn quite hectic now for ILR3 as Josh Mayer having a bucket load of lag. Trying to catch up to Svag. I think it's making everyone feel a bit nauseous looking at that. But Verstappen, he's going to move to the inside of Paga to take 4th position along the straight with the DRS to help him in towards turn 1. Can he take the position? Paga's going to sling it around the outside. There's contact and Paga's going to just about hold on to it. Verstappen keeping it on track. Oh, and the Ginger's lost the position to Josh Mayer. Josh has got a lot of lag though, and that is quite an issue there actually. The lag of Josh will have some effect as VRT Triple has 3-second time penalty there for multiple warnings. So a message I think we'll see many more times as we have completed 2/3 of the race, and I'm going to take now to get a glass of water quickly. Alright, I am in black, and there's a yellow flags because the Ginger has, oh I don't know actually, the Ginger has just been overtaken, but I'm not sure that's the cause because Deneen and Dougie are having quite the tussle up at the top for 2nd position, and Dougie is going to take 2nd now. Everyone has made their pit stops. There's yellow flags as Lawrence is out of the race. This is beginning to be an absolute wreck fest. That's yet another car out. And oh, am I sitting on my phone? Yes, I am. But I don't know what's happened here. Lawrence is leaving the session. Everyone is having issues. And I don't know where he went off, but that is really unfortunate. Dougie's got a 3-second time penalty, and that is going to have a big effect come the end of the race as Deneen overtakes him. Actually, no, he's not into turn 10. They're side by side, but Deneen is going to take 2nd position. Bit of wheel spin there for the Alfa Romeo, but nothing too serious. With just 10 laps to go, let me know your podium predictions, because it is going to be close. Look at this train then emerging behind Dougie. I think Paga could be in for a shout of the podiums as well. It's not over quite yet. We've still got a few kilometres to go, about 40 if my math is correct, which it invariably isn't. Down the inside then though goes Paga into turn 1, side by side, bit of contact there, wheel to wheel racing, but Paga and Verstappen, Dougie is the wrong way round and he's lost many positions. He's all the way down to 8th after that contact. He's been hit badly, and that is very unfortunate there for the McLaren. Just the proximity of these drivers racing tonight is bringing out all of these collisions. They're just getting too close for too long, and unfortunately it is having bad effects. We now have just 14 drivers left in the session, left in the race I should say, which is not ideal to say the least. It is unfortunate though, they've all been crashing. Just this last sector of the race as VRT Triple goes down the inside of Josh Mayer. They're side by side. Josh is lagging like I don't even know what, like Wi-Fi from a potato. And yeah, he's ghosting and he's let VRT Chappelle through. I don't know what's going on then with him, but he's still very close to the McLaren. That must be scary to race against because you never know where he's going to end up, and if he'll end up on you, in you, through you. It's just always a bit edge of your seat moment when you're racing someone with lag, but he's going to go around the outside into turn 1. They're side by side again as there's lots of lag between these two drivers, but the McLaren will stay on top as Dougie gets as Ginger makes a double overtake, and Kvyat Campbell is the wrong way round and he's nearly crashed into Tomo. That is not ideal as the racing point of Alice Killer gets past as well. There is just spins here, there and everywhere right now in the race, and it has just not gone well for the Ferraris. I mean, Verstappen actually has made an excellent recovery drive, so it's gone well for one of them. But Kvyat Campbell is not been a great second stint for him. I think we have to agree. But anyway, Verstappen's relatively close to Paga. I do apologise, but the clouds are coming back. I don't know. It seems like the threat of rain is just forever on the edge. I'm not sure if we're going to get struck by it though. I know the drivers will be hoping that they don't, but as a spectator, you know, it's always quite interesting to see what kind of spanner a little bit of water throws into the works. That lap 26 of 33 then. Dropier in the lead, followed by Deneen and Paga. Dropier is having an absolute marvel of a race. And I'm just going to have a quick look at the standings to see what effect that's going to have. This is the other Renault, the teammate to Dropier. I'm going to have a, I'll have a quick look at these standings of the championship. Come on. Dropier is... Where is he? He's currently in 7th. This could be really beneficial for him. Shipalili is still doing bits. He's actually having an excellent race and he's closing up behind Spaghetti Chips. So, yeah. VRT Shipalalo is still doing bits. As you can see. But here he comes then. Speaking of VRT Shipalalo, around the outside of Spaghetti Chips in the DRS. He's going to overtake him before he's even got over the line. In towards turn 1 then, and I think the Renault's just going to have to concede that position. And that is a good overtake there from VRT Chappelle. You know, he might be in with a chance of getting a podium. We've still got 7 laps to go, and he's only 2.5 seconds off Paga. It's definitely not over. It's too early to call, as I've found out many times before in league racing. So you never know. He just might be in with a chance of a podium. I think a win though at this late stage is more than unlikely. Sorry, I'm just trying to sort out my stand. It's being funny again. In the background, did I see anything there? I don't think so. Things are beginning to calm down for lap 27, and I think the final push will come towards the end of the race. The clouds keep teasing us. The sun is back out. My phone's gonna die. I've got my stream up on my phone, it's gonna die. But VRT Chapelello. Oh, but Verstappen and Paga side by side. I didn't even see that coming. Paga's really having a pace drop as they go side by side through turns 1, 2 and 3. It looks like the Ferrari's going to come out on top. As I was saying, it's too early to call. Paga is now out of the podium positions, but will he stay that way? He's going to send one down the inside into turn 4. They go side by side on the exit, and the Red Bull's going to come out on top. But the Ferrari is going to send another lunge down the inside into turn 5 as we run through turn 6. Paga is defending for his life into turn 7. They're side by side again, and there's a bit of contact. And Paga defending, but only just. And this is giving the McLaren their chances to gain. And he has gained about a second in that last couple of sectors. In fact, over a second through turn 10. He has got some excellent pace on these mediums, as Deneen is actually catching up to Dropier as well. So you never know. The race is certainly not over. And that lull, unfortunately, only lasted for a second, because look at this. VRT Chapelello is right up the gearbox of Verstappen. After Verstappen made a bit of contact with the Red Bull, which offset his car, and he had to back out of his battle with Paga. Towards turn 1 then, not quite close enough to make any kind of move. Well, the exit, he's got absolute traction for days. I'm lost for words. How has he managed it? He's on the soft medium tyres that are much younger, much fresher. He's only done one stop, so he must have started on those hards. And the overcut, it seems like, has been the successful strategy for him. Let's go down to Dougie Falcons and Tomo, because Tomo, it's not been the greatest of races for him, especially for someone so high in the championship. But he might not even get a point at this rate. He does need to pick up the pace. Just get that ready for the moment we need to switch back up to that battle. But yeah, it just doesn't seem like Tomo is able to make a bit. I'll say that as he goes down the inside into turn 10, they are side by side now. Dougie had quite the fall actually from the start, and I can't tell if he's got damage or not. But let's hop back. Oh my goodness. Let's hop back up to here because VRT Chapalello is catching up. Sorry about leaving that battle with Tomo's on, but here we go. Down the inside goes the McLaren into turn 1. Yet again we say that, and that is 4th position. Now only 1 second stands in between this man and a podium as Tomo does overtake Dougie. Well, keep an eye here because Spaghetti Chips is catching Verstappen as well. Verstappen and Tomo had that little moment at the beginning, and it's beginning to have a bit of a bite back effect. And having had a good start to the race, I think Verstappen's about to have quite a large fall. Although there is not much time left of the Grand Prix. Hashtag Pinky Farmer there for you. That is D43 Tomo, but VRT Chapalello down the inside on Paga. He's just come out of nowhere. In fact, you never know. I think a race win is out of the question. But he could get the podium. He was sending it down the inside into turn 10. This is for the podium, and he is really fighting for it with 3 laps to go. You never know. He might just get it. Paga, he's got lap tyres that are 7 laps older and 1 compound harder. So there's almost no chance for him to defend as he's going to take a defensive inside line. VRT Chappelle is just going to bang, blast right past him along the straight, getting the position before the turn in even started. And now Spaghetti Chips close to Verstappen, but not quite close enough to make a move. He might be able to in turn 4. We'll have to right wide with him for that. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to though. QVR Campbell actually, he's close to Alice Killer. Oh no, but he's not anymore because he's just gone the wrong way round. And I think we can call that good timing as he's received a bit of front wing damage from spinning himself around there. Unfortunate there for the Ferrari. It's not been a good race for him, but this is his teammate who he's had quite a good comeback, as you can see, by making up 10 positions. There's the yellow flags in sector 2, and I think that's from Campbell. Still yellow flags in sector 2. Alice Killer is closing on Dougie, but I don't think he's going to close up enough. Look at this train then forming behind Chapalel and Paga. It's all closing down. It goes all the way down to Josh. It's between about 3rd and 7th. You never know. Josh might just overtake Spag. Although I don't think he's close enough for that. But Chappelle is now in the podium positions, and he's only got to hold on to it for 2 more laps. So if you have any questions for the podium finishers, do let me know in the comments down below, and I can ask them in the post-race interviews. But yeah, clearly Wace in support. I've probably pronounced that wrong, sorry about that. But Wace in support of Chapalel. As Verstappen is trying to close up to Paga. Paga is just really dropping off in this final stage. We were teased with rain, but we're not going to be getting it. As we approach the final lap of the race, Campbell's gone into the pits. It's just not been a good race for him. Alice Killer, 2 cents off Dougie Falcons, and he has taken Dougie Falcons. Dougie Falcons, he had a fall from Grace earlier. It was going so well for him, then it all went a bit downhill. But Josh is very close to the back of Spag. So we'll just keep weather eye out for him. But it is the final lap of the Grand Prix this evening. It has been an absolute roller coaster. I think you'll have to agree. Verstappen still in with a shot of overtaking Paga, but he's still got Spag behind him to look out for. But Dropier, he's been excellent this race, and he's had a lot of battles. He's made up a couple of positions to take this position. VRT Chapelel from 18th to the podium. That is phenomenal driving for the McLaren driver. Of course, the driver would be driving. But through the second sector for the final time this evening goes Dropier. There's literally no way he can lose now. He has just driven excellently this evening. As Kvyat Blige sets a fast lap with a 1:19.4. But he's not in the top 10, so I'm not sure if he'll get the point for that. There it goes, Dropier then through the final couple of turns for the final time this evening to take the checkered flag here in Spain after what has been an excellent Grand Prix. Across the line he goes to take the win, followed by Denis and VRT Chapelel. Then it's going to be Paga, followed closely. But Chapelle had time penalties and he's off of the podiums. And look how close these guys are finishing. Now it's Tomo who's going to finish in 10th. VRT Chapelel dropped all the way down to 5th. Paga back up into 3rd. Across the line goes Tomo and Alice Skiller. Then it's going to be Dougie Falcons, Cohen Blige and QVR Campbell. Remember, if you do have any questions for those top 3, let me know in the comments down below and I'll be sure to ask them in the post-race interviews. Campbell getting a 3-second time penalty, although I'm not sure what effect that's going to have. Here comes Cohen Blige then through the final sector for the last time this evening. This has been such a good race. And remember, this has been all in memory of Antoine Hubert, so thank you for respecting that. But there we go, in memory of Antoine Hubert.